It's 4 in the afternoon and I've made coffee, so I may never sleep again. Let's answer some questions! Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am doing a rather exciting but also kind of scary video. I am answering some questions from my 750 subscribers AMA. When I hit 750, I put a question box on my Instagram and I asked people on Twitter to just send me some questions. There were no holds barred. You could ask literally anything that you were thinking of and I would answer them. So I've got my phone. I've got both of them open. Let's go. So I start with Instagram and the first question is marry me from Michelle's library. Sure. I would like an August wedding, autumny kind of vibes. And I will be wearing head to toe pastel. She also asked, do you think you will ever move back to Ireland? And honestly, at the moment, I think the answer is no. At the moment, I'm really happy in Berlin. I've really settled myself down. I've really kind of found my groove with the city. I still have so much to explore, but also being back in Ireland for these 2 or 3 weeks that I've just been back here is kind of enough. It's expensive here, girl. I put something on my personal Instagram story a couple of weeks ago, but the shampoo that I buy in Germany is €4, and the same bottle just here in Ireland in a regular grocery store is 13, €14. So I can't even afford to wash my hair. No, I'm not coming back yet. Sorry, not sorry. And she also asked favorite dessert. That is a long question. It's going to take me about 7 years to think of an answer. If I have to sit down right now and think, it would probably be banoffee pie, apple crumble served warm with vanilla ice cream, not custard, ice cream, or chocolate biscuit cake. And her final question is favorite Taylor Swift song. I don't know what else I expected from Michelle. That can kind of change based on the day of the week, how I'm feeling, what my vibe is, but Desert Island Taylor Swift songs, Clean, New Romantics, I Forgot That You Existed, Cruel Summer, The Man, You Belong With Me. Am I at 8 yet? I've lost count. You Need to Calm Down. And there's probably another one that's at the top of my head and I can't think of it. But those are pretty high up on my list. Sam from Gris Reads asked, favorite place you've ever traveled or places you'd love to visit? So, my favorite place that I've traveled to is probably Krakow. I went to Krakow in southern Poland with 2 friends of mine back in 2018. We had the best time. We kind of ate our way around the city. We saw as much as we wanted to see. Probably if we went back, we would still have stuff that we wanted to do, but as we were there and what we wanted to do, we kind of ticked every box. Places that I would love to go. Melbourne has been on my list for such a long time. I've always wanted to go to Melbourne. I would really love to go to Italy. I've never been to Italy, and somebody who loves Italian food as much as I do, to think that I've never once been to Italy doesn't really make sense. Janet from Janice Suzanne asked, are there any other languages that you want to learn? So, I'm pretty okay with German right now. I'm doing pretty good. But I think if I was to sit down and learn another language, it would probably be Spanish. I've always just really loved the idea of Spanish. I can say a little bit in Spanish. I've got like Duolingo starter level Spanish, and I wanted to keep going with Duolingo, but it got to a stage where I realized I didn't have anyone to practice it with. And for me, learning a language has to be really immersive. I have to be able to practice it, to speak it, to read it, to hear it. And if I'm not getting that kind of interaction with it, I'm going to lose it. So that's kind of a reason why Spanish had to fall to the side. Meredith from Reading with Merb asked, a video that you are the most proud of. A couple of years ago, I did a kind of a map of the US based on the states that I've read a book that is set in. I don't think I had gotten to even 25 by that stage. I don't even know if I'm near 25 right now. I'd love to go back and kind of sit down and do that video again, but I was really, really proud of it. I put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I just really enjoyed putting it together. Her next question is, if you could be an animal, what kind of animal would you be? I would love to be a cat. I think it would be amazing to just sleep for 16 hours in the day. You have no responsibilities and everybody loves you and everyone just wants to come and pet your head and tell you that you're pretty. Onto Twitter, Shannon from 155 Books asked, who is your favorite author of all time? Yes, you can only pick one. I hate her. Only one. Marion Keyes. I had to think about that for a while, but I went through all of the books that I've read from all of my favorite authors across the spectrum of how long I've been reading, and I kind of just thought to myself, if you were moving, only could bring one person's books with you, you can only bring one author, you can only read one author for the rest of your life, who is it going to be? It's Marion Keyes. Her next question, which country that you've never visited before do you want to travel to next, or travel to the most? Italy. I know I just said it in a previous answer, but Italy is definitely up there on the list. And now that I live kind of closer to Italy than I did before, it's not outside the realm of possibility. There are potentials for a day trip to Milan, for example. I had the potential for a day trip to Milan, but that kind of plan fell through. I could go for a weekend in Rome, I could do a weekend in Venice, I could do a mini break to literally anywhere across the country. I would love to go to Italy just one day. Shara from Thoroughly Enjoyed Brooks asked, what is your favourite veggie or vegan place in Germany? So I'm going to talk Berlin. And if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, Berlin is going to be your heaven. There are so many places. One of my favourite places across Berlin for vegetarian food is What Do You Fancy Love? And there's actually 2 locations, but I've only ever been to one. There's one in Neukölln, which is in the east of the city, and there's one in Charlottenburg, which is west of the city, and it's a lot closer to where I live at the moment. So I go there if I'm feeling like a bougie kind of a lunch. They do smoothies, they do salad bowls, they do acai bowls, they do so much stuff. It's so good and I really enjoy it there. If you want something sweet though, and generally I do, Bramibals Donuts. I think there's 5 of them across the cities. There's definitely one in Alexanderplatz. There's one in Prenzlauer Berg. And I know that there's one in Neukölln as well. There's a couple across the city, but they do the most phenomenal donuts. And they're all 100% vegan and they are just so good. We had them at work for an event a couple of weeks ago and I just kept scanning everyone's desks how many people aren't eating their donuts that I can take these home? Obviously, that answer was 0. Spicy question from Victoria, from what Victoria read. What is the worst book that you read because of BookTube? Girl. There's a couple of books that BookTube has made me read, and then I just thought, do I live on the same plane of existence as you guys do? Because you all love this and I don't. And I'm not going to win any friends here. The answer is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab. I can't remember. I know that she uses one for her adult books and one for her YA books, but I don't remember which one it was for Addie LaRue. I could not get into it. I gave myself a little sample chapter because it would have been my first of her books, so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on a book that I might not have enjoyed, and I couldn't find it in any of the libraries that I was living close to at the time. So I just thought, you know what, give it a sample chapter from your Kindle, see how you feel. But it did not hook me at all. What book were you guys reading? Her second question is, what is your favorite thing about Germany? So I think I've spoken about this in a previous Q&A, but one of my favorite things, and it's so inconsequential and so stupid, is the fan system. So I buy a lot of bottled water because water in Berlin is really calcy, really lime scaly. And I do have a Brita filter, but if I'm out and about, I will always buy a bottle of water just in case. On bottles of water, you have a little kind of a sticker. I don't have any bottles over at home with me to show you, but you have this tiny sticker with a recycling label on them in loads of supermarkets, some kind of like Boots kind of things, like drugstores. There are these return machines that you can put bottles into and you can put cans into, and sometimes you can put beer bottles into, and you will get a deposit back. So you pay an extra 25 cents for plastic bottles and for cans at the till, and you pay an extra 8 cents for glass beer bottles. When you bring them to these machines, you get that money back, and you can spend it on whatever you want. So I always fill a shopping bag, and when the bag is full and I know that I need to do a big grocery shop, I will bring the bag with me, throw them all into the machine, and sometimes you get maybe between 5 and 10 euro, and that 5 to 10 euro comes off my grocery bill. It's phenomenal. If Ireland brings that in, I might consider moving home. Mel from a book fiend named Mel, what inspired you to start your BookTube channel? I don't even remember. I think it was just the tip of lockdown. It was March 2020 that my first video ever went up. And I think I was just like, well, whatever you can do, I can do better. I just wanted another outlet. I had been blogging for maybe 7 or 8 years by that stage, but I think I was falling out of love with blogging overall. And I felt like video was the way to go. I'd been watching BookTube for such a long time, and I'd been watching all of these people and thinking, well, if you can do it, I can do it. And it turns out, yes, I can. Her second question is, what is your favorite book that you read because of BookTube? If you ask me right now, and yes, the answer is going to surprise you because it sure as shit surprised me, is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I read most of this on the plane coming back from Berlin to Ireland, and I swear to you, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I ended up enjoying it. It was so much better than any of the other Tessa Bailey books that I've read, and I think that is because I didn't read it as an audiobook, I read it as an actual physical book. I should have known better, basically. Daniela from Only For a Page asked, how do you manage to post videos consistently? Girl, it is a struggle. I like to block off my weekends to film. I try and film everything on a Saturday, edit everything on a Sunday. I film bulk 3 maximum at a time, or else my brain just turns into soup and I cannot think anymore. But generally, I would film everything on one day and then I would edit everything the day after. Always try and have them Monday to Thursday at 1 o'clock German time. And I did kind of toy with the 7 on Sunday series that Grace from G Swizzle does. I did do some of them during Veda in April. I might do them again for Veda in August. Let's see how we go. But at the moment, we're sticking with our 2 a week. Her other question is changes or trends that you've noticed recently on BookTube. That is a very good question. I'm glad that you asked. I'm not very perceptive of these kind of things, but obviously right now you've got everyone and their mother doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I feel like reading vlogs and secret vlogs, I think Kayla really started something there with, I'm going to read this for a video, but I'm not going to tell you why I'm reading it or what the video is. I feel like she really kickstarted a trend there. And I really love those kind of videos, the whole kind of joining a book together in a way that you never would have thought that it would work. It's something that she does so well, and I love seeing other people's takes and interpretations on it. My actual real life friend Roisin, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago? Brush your fucking teeth, girl. Oh, and start brushing up on your German because you're going to need that pretty soon. What is your favorite and your least favorite thing about the BookTube, BookTok, or bookish community? Okay, so my favorite thing about the BookTube community is how welcoming it is. I've never had anybody come up to me and say, your channel doesn't belong here. Never had anybody come up to me and said, I didn't really like that video that you just did about this thing, or I really wish that you weren't a part of this. I really love that everybody is so welcoming, is so inclusive, just wants to hear other people's thoughts on books, just wants to hear other people's opinions, even if it is a different opinion to what you have, even if they're saying something completely different about a book that you hold dear, even if they're saying that they want to put it through a wood chipper page by page by page. I still love like watching people say that about books that I've read because nobody reads the same book the same way. Least favorite thing is the impact that it's had on my bank account. But that's also a me thing. But really, some of the least favorite things that I've had is that you can feel like you're only reading for content. You can feel like you're only reading a book so that you can talk about it on camera, or so that you can feature it on Instagram, or so that you can make a book talk about it because you've heard a sound that it fits into really well. That is something that I really need to drum out of my brain. I really need to get back into the whole thought of read this book because you want to read it. Read this book because it's something that interests you. Not read this book because you're going to do a reading vlog about this theme, or read this book because you've got a Books and a Brews planned and it fits into that section really well. Do you know what I mean? I feel like once I get my brain into the just read it because you want to read it, just read it because you enjoy reading, just read it because reading is what you do. Once I get that back into my head, it's all go. So that's all of the questions. Thank you so much for all of the questions that you've sent. And also thank you so much for 750 subscribers. I cannot believe I convinced 750 of you that I have anything worthwhile to say. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I can do videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.